And in a final act of sickening brutality, they tore the family's dog open and then drowned the couple's 12-year-old son in a scalding bathwater as their ears went deaf to his cries. Now, this is probably the most crazy family massacre ever recorded within Africa, where a gang of robbers ambushed a family with one aim: that nobody is left alive. In a suburban neighborhood named Vereniging, the southern part of Johannesburg of South Africa, with over 700,000 people, there lived Mr. Tony Viana, a 53-year-old man. He was married to Mrs. Geraldine Viana. Not much was known about the Portuguese South African couple, aside the fact that they had 2 kids, Gabriela, a teenage girl from the previous marriage of Mr. Tony, and then 12-year-old Amaro, whom Mr. Tony had with his present wife. Their lives were pretty simple. Mr. Tony worked as an engineer, while his wife shuffled several jobs while she managed their home. On the other hand, the 2 kids, Gabriela and Amaro, would go to school whenever school was in session. However, their lives would change for the worse when a well-plotted attack was executed on a windy Saturday evening, the 1st of October 2011. 4 men identified as Petrus Radebe, 24, Sifo Mpele, 21, and Siwe David, 20, and a 4th person who was a minor, snuck into the Viana family at Walkerville. They had apparently known the schedule of the family's whereabouts that particular Saturday, and they knew how to break into the house without any trace. There they laid in wait for the first victim to walk in through the door. That first victim was Mr. Tony, who was attacked from behind unawares with a machete and a club. He was tied up and then forced to open the family safe from which the robbers stole. You will think that they had achieved their goal of stealing and leave, but this was only just the beginning. They made sure Mr. Tony was helpless and gagged. Then they waited for Mrs. Tony, his wife, who arrived with their 12-year-old son Amaro. Just like the father, the assailants attacked, gagged and tied up the mother and son. But this time, they separated the mother and son in different rooms because they had other plans. They wanted to teach Mrs. Geraldine a lesson. The robbers put Mrs. Geraldine to the ground. Whilst one tied and held her legs, another would tie and hold her hands, then the third would use a pillow to stand on her head. This they did, taking turns having forceful carnal knowledge of this woman, Petrus, and then Sifo, and then finally Siwe. This horrible act was to get back at Mrs. Tony, and after having their fill, Petrus shot Mrs. Tony in the head with a pistol gotten from her husband. And then Sifo collected the same gun with which he shot Mr. Tony too. Whilst all this happened, Amaro was in the other room crying and shouting, even though he was gagged. And after they were done, they were about to leave. Then they realized that 12-year-old Amaro could identify them. So the robbers filled the family's bathtub with hot boiling water. And this was where they drowned 12-year-old Amaro whole, with his head face down in the bathtub. And the final act was capturing the barking family dog and tearing it open. Now one would wonder, how could these men perpetrate this crime without any form of notice from either the neighbors or something like that? It turns out that Mr. Petrus was the Viana family's gardener, and his son was the minor whose name was unstated, nor his picture published. On the other hand, Sifo and Siwe had also worked at the Viana family, with one of them being the son of the family's housekeeper. I would believe their arrest was made as those who knew and worked for the family, or probably the selling of the items of the family. The 3 men pleaded guilty while smiling in court, and in response for why they had done what they did, they said it was a retaliation to how badly Mrs. Geraldine Viana had treated them. September 2012, they were given long-term sentences with the opportunity for parole within 5 to 10 years. The truth is, this is the 12th year and we do not know what have become of these robbers and murderers of the Viana family in Vereniging of South Africa. Hi there, you're welcome back to the channel. This is True Crimes Informant, where you get the most factual and detailed true crimes and mysterious stories from the jaws of Africa. Now, as long as it concerns an African or Africa, then be sure to get that story on this channel. So if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell button beside for notification on every post that we make. Don't forget to share comments down below and also give this video a thumbs up so that more people can get to see.